Ottawa, but he'll skate for the Ottawa Junior Senators this year. But the Braves, from the Braves' perspective, from their new coaching staff, I guess Devin Payne is the shall we say, the survivor from last year's administrative situation, and the Braves are saying they're about the same speed level. That's the impression I'm under, but a little bit bigger, especially on the back end, Norm.
Well, we're going to have to wait now. Brockville plays 5 games in 7 days. So next Saturday morning, after they play home and home with Cornwall, we'll know a little more about what we're going to see this season. Now, as far as I consider this to be almost like an expansion team. We've lost the owner, we've lost the general manager, we've lost the coaching staff, we lost the training staff, and as I said, the only people we got left are Bob Darling and Sam, and maybe Jamie, who looks after the volunteers. It's actually just an expansion team that's already been in the league.
Yeah, that's a good analogy, Norm. It's kind of like fresh paint. Everything's kind of all new and glistening. But yeah, we're going to have a little bit better idea, as you said, next Saturday. A lot of games in a short period of time, and some interesting ones, of course. Tomorrow afternoon, the Braves play the Pembroke Lumber Kings to conclude the showcase. And then it's the old 401 series back-to-back with the Cornwall Colts Thursday at the Ed Lumley, and back for the Braves home opener Friday, September the 11th, the Friday night the Braves open. Taking a look, Norm, the Cornwall roster, they lose Marley Quince, but a pretty veteran lineup as compared to a new situation in Brockville. It should be an interesting matchup come Thursday.
It's always very interesting with Cornwall and Brockville. Although last season, I believe Brockville won 5 out of the 6 in the season, and handled Cornwall pretty well. But I'm interested to see what the goaltending is like with the Braves. We got 2 new ones. Unfortunately, Bo, he was a good goaltender last year, and we've lost him. And I'm interested to see what these 2 can bring, because goaltending is going to be the key to this league.
Well, it's no question about it, and the Braves will start. They've given the number 1 job to Henry Johnson, and we're talking about Henry Johnson. The Braves picked him up. It didn't take them long they liked what they've seen at the Chowder Cup in Boston, and they obviously committed the number 1 to Henry Johnson, 6'1". By this day and age, not necessarily a big goaltender, but Johnson, a Minnesota native, played with the Cleveland Barons last year. Shutout yesterday, 3-0 shutout. A good way for Henry Johnson to start his CCHL, career, or how long. We'll get a better impression again, like you said, as the week unfolds.
Well, we know that Bo Taylor came in as a very young goaltender last year, and he worked hard, and you could see the progression during the season. And fortunately for him, Gatineau Olympic of the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League have decided he's going to be one of their 2 goaltenders this year.
Yeah, I mean, Bo was really, really developing. I mean, he was the go-to guy in the playoffs, played very, very well for the Braves. That's the other thing, I mean, if you're going to go young, it's kind of a question mark, a little Russian roulette there, because if they actually progress very well, you may not have them. We've got about 4 Braves that attended OHL camps just prior to this season unfolding, but we'll see. And from the goaltending perspective, going back to Henry Johnson, of course, Henry Johnson had possibility of going to Trenton Golden Hawks, the Ontario League, but elected to come to the Braves only because of the Braves have got basically their coaching staff pretty familiar with goaltending. There are about 3 members of that staff. Dan Armstrong, of course, was scouting a goaltender. Devin Payne, a goaltender. Dustin Trailin, a goaltender. And that's probably a good situation, because most people don't understand the goaltending. And style, and also the mindset, and they may not be get as quick on the finger fire as pulling somebody, which is always kind of a stretch on the confidence.
Well, I believe Henry Johnson has been told it's his job to lose. So that should give him some confidence to start off with. And he got a shutout last night. I mean, any way you look at it, he didn't allow a goal.
Yeah, the other goaltender is Sarah Sulu. We'll see. It'll be interesting who gets the start today. But I mean, if they've said, if they're true to their word, and the number one is the number one, it will be Henry Johnson between the pipes today for the Brockville Braves. So, game number 2. Braves off to a good start. Now, it's interesting. We talked to Dustin Traylor prior to the hockey game on his thoughts about the game yesterday. The Braves won 3-0, but he said it could have just as easily been much larger score, Norm.
Well, that's right. He said that he didn't think the opposition was that much, and he said that by the end of the first period, it was sort of a foregone conclusion what was happening. And then if you look back again, Gloucester playing Pembroke, I think Gloucester only generated 13 shots on net against Pembroke, and Pembroke had 40-some. So it may be a bit of a problem for Gloucester over the year. I don't see them improving over last year.
Well, no, it's a very interesting situation. It goes back to what we've said here on the onset about younger players, and Gloucester was shaping up for this season, looking pretty impressive. That, of course, you had Max Verneau, you had Max Foguet, missing one other key in the clog there. But they had some great young talent. But guess what? All of a sudden they've fast-tracked Matt Foguet. He's off to NCAA, and they've got none of them. And yesterday or whatever, it was a no-contest hockey game.
Well, we've had some discussion about this, Neil, that somehow the Ottawa city teams are having a bit of a problem. I mean, there's just not enough hockey players to go around. And somewhere, I don't know whether the league fathers are going to have to look and figure out that to contract the team may be better than expanding it.
Yeah, I think the league kind of likes 12 teams, but there's a price to pay, and it kind of stratospheres. And a lot of times I think people were hoping that the Ottawa teams would do much better. They always are hoping the Ottawa teams would be more and more competitive across the board. But I think over long term, that's not going to stand up, and we've already seen that. I mean, Nepean, they use external players. The Ottawa Junior Senators as well, not so, and they have success. It's tougher for the other clubs, and we end up with kind of a stratosphered standings. And as you had alluded to as we talked early, we looked at where the Brockville Braves acquired their points last year. Norm, where did they acquire them? With the exception of Cornwall, which was an anomaly that, as you said, we took 5 of 6. We usually struggled against them. But other than Cornwall, we didn't accumulate a whole lot of points from the top of the standings, Norm.
No, I took a look back at last year, and Brockville really accumulated 70% of their points from the bottom 5 teams. Now, they may be in the same boat this year. I don't know. But with 10 teams in the playoff, it's a new ball game altogether.
It is, Norm. That's our pregame here from the Bell Center. Braves going to play their second game of the CCHL schedule. They're 1-0. The Braves and Grads coming up next.